So this is part 2 of our little 90s style anime kind of robot here, as you can see. So you haven't already seen part 1, go ahead and check that out, but this is going to be part 2. We'll continue working on the legs and the shaders a little bit and the rigging. And then what we're going to do in part 3, which is after this one, is we'll finish off and render this all out as a final animation. But yeah, let's jump in. I hope you guys enjoy. So like I said in part 1, we're just going to be continuing with adding placeholder materials now and then rigging our legs. So let's start by selecting this end piece over here. We're going to come over to our materials properties. We're going to click new, and let's call this purple. There we go. And what we're going to do, we're going to come over here to our the bottom to our viewport display, and for now, so we can see what it is, let's kind of make it like a purplish color. We're kind of going for this sort of purple here, kind of like 90s kind of purple. And if you watch, some older anime from the 90s, you'll kind of see what I mean by anime purple. Maybe just a little bit darker in value. There we go. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go plus and go new, and let's just call this orange. And you oftentimes see orange and purple go together a lot in 90s anime. So we're going to come here to the viewport display and make it orange. And we're going to tab into edit mode, and what we're going to do, we're going to just select a vertex on this piece here and go Control L, just to select the whole thing, like so. And then we're going to come here and assign that orange to it, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and click plus and go new. And let's call this red. Let's come to the viewport display and make it red, like around about here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select a vertex on this bottom piece and go Control L, and let's just add that red to it, like so. And make sure the red looks kind of different from the orange over there. And that's already looking really cool. Now, if you wanted to, you could always come in here if you feel the need to, and you can grab other parts of this and give them different materials. You want to add more variety. I just think for me like this, keeping it simple is going to work for me the most here. But I might just grab these edges here. I mean, these 4 faces here on the end, and just go S, Y, and flatten them a bit to make them sharper. But that's just my personal preference there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select these 2 leg parts, both of them, and holding in shift, we're going to select the last one that we added to materials. So we're going to go Control L, and we're going to just link the materials. And now we can grab this one, tab into edit mode, and we can kind of grab different parts of this. So I'm going to select the face here and go Control L. I'm going to assign the orange to that. And then I'll grab some of these parts here, go Control L, and I might assign the red, as you can see here. And then I'm going to grab this guy over here. I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'll just select some different parts here and maybe assign like the red up here. I might assign the orange to this bit down here. And you guys kind of get the idea here, right? What we're doing. Pretty straightforward, just adding different placeholder materials. And then obviously this bowl down here, I think that one we're just going to hold in shift and just select it to the join it to this one over here. Okay, so select this one, holding in shift, select the first leg piece and go Control J, and that should all be joined together. And now we can select our robot body, and holding in shift, select one of these pieces and go Control L and just link those materials as well. And now let's just tab into edit mode. We're going to press A to select everything, go to the orange and then assign it. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to assign some of these colors here. So we're going to hold in shift and alt and left click and just select this loop over here. Let's assign the purple. And then let's just select the face on this thing over here. And holding in shift and control, we can kind of come down and select these faces. I might just go up and select these ones as well. There we go. And I'm going to select the purple and assign that. And then I'll just select different parts on this kind of like blaster turret here. And I'm just going to go ahead and assign the purple. And I might grab this bit at the back, go Control plus to grow it a little bit. And I might make that red and assign that, and then see how it goes. So yeah, just be as creative as you want and assign some of these different materials as you wish. So I'm going to maybe make this purple over here. Grab these edges here. Might make them purple as well. And maybe grab this over here, make that red. Really, at this point, I don't expect you to follow me exactly. At this point, this is not critical. Like, if you do this differently to me, this tutorial will still work out perfectly. It's just kind of like, at this point, I almost expect you to stop following me step for step with the coloring and just assign the colors wherever you want to. Make it completely yours. I'm going to go maybe make this red and maybe add some purple over here to these bits. And honestly, I'm just kind of winging it, you know, just randomly adding colors. We can always change this later on as well. If you want to, obviously you can come in here and create more colors, but for now, we'll just go with these colors. Now tab back out. I'm going to grab this guy over here and I'm just going to go to the drop down and give that the orange. There we go. Okay, now we have these, what you can see here. So I'm just going to get rid of the camera for now and the light. And in our front view, we're going to go Shift A. We're going to go to our armature options, add in a single bone. And then we'll tab into edit mode and we'll grab this single bone and we'll go G and move it over and place it over here where the leg begins. Now we want to make sure to go over to our object data properties here for the bones and go to the viewport display. And let's make it in front so we can see it. And I'm just going to also quickly go into wireframe just so we can see where this ball starts. And we want to kind of have the fat end of the bone be here in the middle, roughly. Then we're going to grab this knob here and bring it down till it sits in the middle of this sphere over here. Then we're going to go E to extrude that one and move it over here till it's in the middle of this sphere. And you can eye this, it should be fine. And then go E to extrude and extrude this down till it's sitting on the tip of the floor here, like that. And that's all we really need. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into our pose mode. So in pose mode, we're going to select this end leg here. And what we're going to do with it active, we're going to come up here to pose. We're going to go down to inverse kinematic over here. And we're going to go add IK to bone. And then the option comes here. We're going to go to new empty object. There we go. So now if we go back into object mode, we can select this empty and go G to move it. And you can see this all goes along. So all we have to do now is we can come into object mode and select this leg over here. And then with this end bit selected, while you hold in shift, select the rig, and then go into pose mode, and then click on this end leg over here so it's active, and then go Control P, and let's go parent to the bone directly. Then let's go back into object mode, and then let's select the middle leg piece, holding and shift select the rig again and go into pose mode. Click on the middle leg here so it's active and go Control P and then parent directly to the bone. And let's do the same thing, going back into object mode, select this last one here, holding and shift select the rig and then go into pose mode. Click on it and then go Control P and then parent directly to the bone. So now if we go back into object mode and we select this empty and we go G to move it, you can see this is what we have. How cool is that? So now what we can do is we can also select this rig over here and holding in shift, we can select the robot body and we can go Control P and we can go object, keep transform. So now if we select the body and we go G to move it, you can see the whole leg goes along. Obviously the only thing we need to do is, we'll do it in a bit, but we'll join this to the body, but we'll do that in a second. What we're going to do for now is we're going to go to our top view. We're going to select everything that has to do with this leg over here. And in our top view, we want to make sure that our 3D cursor is in the middle. We're going to change our transform pivot to 3D cursor. And then in our top orthographic view, we're going to go Shift D to duplicate and then R90 and hit enter. So to duplicate and rotate. And then we're going to go Shift R just to repeat that action 2 more times like this. So now we have 4 of these legs duplicated, and we can now grab each one of these attachment points, these guys over here, just holding and shift select them like so, and make sure it's only them selected, and then holding and shift select the body and then go Control J and then join that together. So now we can also grab our rig here, just grab all of the bones by holding and shift, press M and go new collection, call it bones, and then go create. And then over here, you can just come and turn off the bones for the viewport display and the render. We don't need them. The only thing we want here in our main collection is all of these parts and then these rigs over here, okay, that we can use to control the robot leg. So what we've created now is this cool 90s style anime robot. Really cool. And this is only going to look better once we start adding the toon shaders and the line art to it. So let's start doing that. So for this one, we'll be staying in Eevee. There's no need to use cycles. And we're going to go into our shading workspace. And let's go over to our materials properties. And let's just select a purple material here and move this kind of up. What we're going to do is we're going to take the principled shader here. And in between that and the material output, we're going to go Shift A, search and type in shader 2 RGB. Click on it and then place it over here. And then over here, we're going to go Shift A, search and get a color ramp. Place it on here. And we want to change this to constant so we don't have any sort of gradients. So change it to constant. And then drag this white value down. And let's come over here. We're going to make this kind of like our purple. We're going to make it a bit darker in value. So we're going to go with this sort of purple here. And then we're going to click on this black value here. Click on here and grab your eyedropper and then change it to the same color. But with this one here, we're going to come and we're going to bring down the value to make it our shadowy bit. And then let's drag that up to about here. Okay. So what we can do now is we come over here. You can actually see if you go Z and you go rendered, this is what we have. But we can actually go Shift A as well, add in a sun lamp and go G and move it over. And let's just rotate it. So kind of have it kind of facing the robot like this. There we go. So I'm going to go Z and go rendered. And it should be now that if we grab this and go back to our purple shader, it should be if we mess around with this, that in the shaded bits we get the darker one here. So let's test this by just making it a little bit darker in value. And if we come over here to our preview, we should see that it actually works over here in the preview. So I'm not quite sure why it's not updating. So if you go into the actual material preview, you can see it works, but if you go Z and go rendered, for some reason it's not working. We might have to grab our light over here and just go over to our light properties and make it something like 120. And yeah, in that case, the light just wasn't powerful enough. So now you can see that's working. And in fact, I think it's too much. I might just make it 70 and that still gives us a good result, as you can see here. Okay, maybe even 50. You mess around with it till you get something you like, but just bring up that intensity. Now we can see that if we click on a robot, go back, now this is working. So we can always mess around with this. But I think kind of where we have it here works perfect. Okay, looking really good. Now, obviously you can grab this and you can make it even darker if you really want those shadows to be dark. But I wouldn't overdo it in this case. Okay, something like this should be fine. Now we have a nice template. So let's grab all of these shaders, these nodes, right click and go copy. Then let's come here to where it says orange. Grab these nodes and press delete. Let's right click and go paste. And now let's just come here and change this one here to orange, like so. Grab this one and grab the eyedropper, change it to the same orange and just make the value darker. So you get the shadowy bits. And then with the red, we're going to do the same thing. Delete, right click and go paste. Change this one here to your red. And change this one to the red as well. And then just make the value of this one darker over here. And you can see this is what we have. Okay, we can add some more materials later, but for now, let's just work with this and actually get into the line art part. So we're gonna go back into our layout. And what we need to do, we need to just find a position that we like, and we're gonna go Shift A, add in a camera, and I'm gonna go into my camera view. And I'm assuming you already know how to move a camera around, so I won't explain that now. If you're doing this tutorial, you should probably already know the very basics of Blender. But just position your camera until you get something that you like. I'm gonna go something like this. Make sure to save. So what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna go ahead and just select all of the parts that we want to have an outline, okay? So that's pretty much all the robot bits. Just select all of them like so and make sure nothing else is selected. Okay, maybe just these things here. Yeah, that's it. Everything to do with the robot. And let's just go M to create a new collection. Let's just call this robot and go create. And over here now we have the robot. Let's just drag this collection, put it at the very top. And the camera and the light here, we'll just press M and they should already just be in the main collection. So put them in the main collection. And let's just double click and call that lights and cam. So we know what that is. The bones, don't worry about that, just keep that at the very bottom. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and with our robot collection here active, we're gonna go Shift A and we're gonna just add under grease pencil, we're just gonna add a blank grease pencil object. And you can come over here to the drop down and you should be able to see it's just called G pencil. And what we wanna do with that active, we wanna go to our modifiers, add modifier, and let's just add the line art, which should be here somewhere. There we go. We're gonna come here to the collection and let's make that the robot. Let's just click here on material and make it black. It should be there as an option. And now if we go into a camera view and we go Z and go rendered, we're not seeing anything yet because we need to come here to the layer and change it to GP layer. And that's our grease pencil layer. And now over here, you can see in the camera view, we have our outline. Now this only works in the camera, so keep that in mind, okay? So if you wanna change that, you have to kind of change the camera around, but it should update in real time. So in our rendered view now, you can see this is what we have. So we can select this grease pencil object at any point, and we can come here to the line thickness, and under the modifier, we can change that. Now I like it around 13, 14, that's me personally, and that's what I have it at when I work with the resolution 1920, 1080p. Okay, so that's just my personal, I think that's based on pixels as well, the thickness here, but that's what I'm gonna go with. You can make it thicker or you can make it thinner. And already, you can see this is looking really, really good. Okay, and keep in mind, we can grab the robot body here at any point and kind of move it around. Look at that, it's an animated, anime style, animatable robot character thing that has real-time toon shading with line art. Pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so already this is fantastic. If you've made it this far, you pretty much made it, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'll have one more part that'll be part 3. I was originally gonna do this as 2 parts, but I'm gonna do one more part where we'll add a little bit more embellishment to this, maybe add a little bit of a scene in there, and then we can kind of render this out as a final animation. So that'll be part 3. And keep in mind, like I said, this is actually gonna be on my Patreon as well, so you can get this finished model on my Patreon. Thank you for watching.